All right, everybody, welcome back to our daily trainings. This is episode 18. We just started the other day. We started doing these daily trainings the other day, and we're already at episode 18. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up, y'all. I can't believe what's happening. Man, you ought to get on this train. You got to jump on the train. If you're attending these daily trainings every day and your people are not, that's one of the things you got to learn how to do. You got to be Don King with the hair. You got to market. You got to call everybody, tell everybody, man, you cannot miss these. And if they miss them live because they got to work, right? Make sure that they get the link. I'm shocked how many people in our hierarchy don't even know there's links. You know, their RVPs don't take the link and send it out and emphasize it. You got to watch these. So make sure you do that. Make sure your people know about these. Man, I am so excited right now for our guest speaker. Man, this guy and his wife, we've been friends now, you know, I don't know, a decade, 2 decades, you know, something, yeah, probably around 2 decades, right? Or close to it. And you know, I'll never forget, you know, I was up in Toronto, Canada, you know, I did a thing for them and I really got to know them, and they're just salt of the earth people. You know, if you ever want to believe that normal people that are not all flash and all sizzle and, you know, they would people that say whatever, say anything it takes to make a sale. If you ever want to meet honest people with integrity, that are regular, average, and ordinary people that have done tremendous things in their lives, look up Danny and Sandra. Look up the Pirillos. Look up to see what kind of people they are. And one reason that they are where they are is because they are just wonderful, normal human beings. And I'm just so proud to be able to call them my friends, both in business and in personal. Let me give you guys a little background. Let me give you a little bio on them. First of all, Danny got licensed in the year 2001. Okay, he was 21 years old. I mean, he barely could have a beer, right? And he went RVP in 6 months. All right, and in under a year, he had his own office. And how's that? He's like, hey, I'm a businessman. Hey, I don't know anything about this thing, but I know a businessman got to do what a businessman got to do. I got to go get my own place. Right? Maybe he was kicked out of the office. I don't know. Maybe he'll tell us what happened, right? So look at this. He got his ring. That's the $100,000 ring before he was 23 years old. I love it. I love it. All right. He's got 16 regional vice presidents. Listen to this. His assets under management exceed $300 million. That's somebody that says, yeah, I'm not just a one-trick pony. You know, I'm going to do my life side of my business. I'm going to do my security side of my business. I'm going to do everything in my business. I love that. He's a national sales director with the greatest financial services company in the world, Primerica. He's a Hall of Fame inductee. I saw them get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Man, look at this. His income, nearly $750,000. 3/4 of that's $750 for those of you like me that didn't finish high school, right? And oh yeah, and this is probably his number one attribute. This guy's not a soccer fan. Yeah, they call him football in Canada and Europe. This guy's not a soccer. This guy's a crazy, whacked out fanatic. He doesn't mind me calling him that. I mean, let's put it this way: if his team is playing in Europe somewhere, he's there. Let's just put it that way, okay? It's like, hey, I'm going to a soccer game. Where are you going? I'll be in Italy. Yeah, you know, there's a match over there in Great Britain. I think Spain is gonna. There he is. He's just a nutso. You know, which is, you know, to win you got to. What's that saying? Normal equals poor, weird equals wealthy. Well, I tell you, this guy is unbelievable. Him and his wife are just unbelievable, crazy, wonderful, fantastic people. I'm so excited. Danny, you can take this away and take as long as you want. Guys, with no further ado, let's hear from the amazing Daniel and Sandra Pirillo.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thank you for that amazing introduction. We had a great time when you were here, and you are still being talked about from the people that are here. And we would love to have you come back to Toronto. We got to bring you back, like maybe like when it's in the summertime, a little bit warmer and stuff like that. But we had a great time. And yeah, a lot of those things you said about me, about the soccer stuff is totally true. And I love when you're talking about, you know, promoting the events. As you're talking about promoting your events, I remember being a newly promoted RVP, and there would be a school, and I remember the doors opened up at, I think it was like 8 a.m. The doors opened up, and I got to that event at like 6 a.m. with a bunch of my people, and we were the first ones there waiting in line. And we just fought and competed to be first. And when those doors opened, we ran like we were a district leader to get to those front rows. We were crazy. And I think that mentality, that hunger to want to compete, I think is really important. And those big events really did help me personally, because I got something from somebody, I heard something, felt something, and that really grew my business. So for anybody who's listening right now, you know, maybe it might seem like, okay, I've heard this, I've heard that. It could be one story. It could be one situation. It could be the person that you're sitting beside that says something to you, and it sort of ignites a little bit of a trick to you, and then all of a sudden you just hammer it. Experiences is what moves us, and I think it's really important. So I love all that stuff. I'm going to share my screen, and I have a lot to talk about today, so I'm really looking forward to having you guys here. Let me just pull it up first. You made me co-host so I can share it, right? All right, cool.
Yes, sir. You should be good to go.
All right, cool. So let me just open this up, and I'm going to share it. This is the world of Zoom that we live in right now. And the funny thing about Zoom, guys, is that for anybody who doesn't know, I am the most like least technical person that you'll ever meet. Like least. You guys see that, Alex? You see that? Welcome. Okay. So I got to tell you something. I never even had a computer on my desk before COVID. I just want to let you guys know I had to adapt like everybody else in this world. This is my agenda. All y'all could laugh later, but this is my agenda. It's called a paper agenda. You could laugh about it. It's okay. I'll still book more appointments than you. And so I think it's really important that you got to learn your skill. And I was able to adapt. And here we are today. Hey, this is where I'm at. You know, this is how I look like today. Everybody always likes to see the finished version, but nobody saw this. Everybody wants to start with this pretty picture, but sometimes it doesn't start like that, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't have anything really going for me. You know, I totally had no money. I was working odds and ends jobs. I'll tell you a little bit. I'm living at home. My mom and my dad, my parents were making me Nutella sandwiches and mortadella sandwiches, fixing my bed. I'm not going anywhere. I don't understand these young people who are 18, 19 years old and like, I think I'm going to move out on my own and create my own destiny. I'm like, you're an idiot. Save your money so you can make the right move when it's financially, because what happens is sometimes these young people go and then they get fixated that I got to pay my rent. I got to pay this. It's so expensive. And then all of a sudden they're not willing to try a business opportunity because they're so fixated on the monthly payment. And that's what the world has created to strap people to the job, which is make them focus on a monthly payment. And that's why they can never explore. But at least I had a hot girlfriend. That's something I had going for me. And Sandra still looks the same today. And a lot of people saying, Dan, what was your background? I did everything. These are like my main jobs. I literally had 20 jobs before the age of 21, like literally. I worked at a supermarket in the fish department, got fired for eating an olive one time. I was cleaning up. I like olives, Kalamata olives specifically. Those are the best ones, the purple ones. Like, if, you know, for anybody else, that's the only olive you should be having on your pizza. I worked construction, did odds and ends jobs, you know, do this, clean up here, pick up that pile. Security, I did like BS security jobs, like little small ones. And I remember doing, you know, a job one time and then they're like, oh, a shooting just happened here last night. I'm like, okay, I quit. And I walked off. I'm like, I'm out of here. You know, I worked at Second Cup, which is like the Canadian version of Starbucks in Canada. And I worked there. I was a coffee barista. So I had to take a test and I remember it was like a 30 or 35 cent raise when you pass this test. So, and you have to study the beans and everything like that. So it was really cool. I worked at the Canadian National Exhibition, which is like a fair, popular fair where we are. I was a garbage man, so I had to pick up garbage. One of the benefits of doing that is sometimes they gave you a corn dog, one of the guys. And landscaper, cut grass. I was a PI, I had to study this stuff. One time I was studying in Chinatown in Toronto, and I was, looking at, I had to investigate and film these guys who are, picketing, and they're like, oh, watch out, Chinatown, they had a lot of problems, a lot of triads in this area. I'm like, okay, I picked up, I quit. I'm like, this is what, it's not worth friggin' $8 an hour to get hooked up with the triads. Okay. So I was like, forget this, I'm out. I worked at a mechanic shop. You know how it is. You get your nails gritty and you clean your hands, it never comes out. Pipe insulation, never get that in your pants. It's the worst feeling in the world. So I did pipe insulation for high-rise buildings, pillow factory, continental shifts, days, evenings, weekends for like $7, $8 an hour. If I worked overtime, I worked in the feather department, which it was crazy. A true story. A box came in from China. We opened it up. A live frog jumped out. I'm like, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. I'm telling you. The woodworking factory. I made wood railings for Home Depot continental shifts. That was brutal for $7. I washed hair with my dad. My dad's a hairdresser. So imagine washing hair, 82-year-old women. They're like, harder, quicker, slower, faster. I'm like, oh, Dio mio. And so I worked in a clothing warehouse, tag clothes. And I was a university student for a short stint of 32 days. So the moral of the story is, show me your friends, they'll show you your future. I hung out with people in high school, and I was like on honor roll in grade 9. And then my marks started going down by 10% a year. Grade 12, I got asked to leave. And only because I wasn't a bad person. I just skipped school a lot. I went to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, I kind of just never went. And so I would always have a long weekend. I got kicked out of school, got into another high school, hung out with one friend who was on the honor roll, ironically made it to the honor roll, stayed out of trouble, made it to university. So your environment does influence you. That's why these big events are important, because that influences the best out of you, not the worst out of you. And when you hang out with your negative losers that are doing maybe stuff that we shouldn't be doing or thinking the way we shouldn't be thinking, guess what? That will attach to you. That's why it's so important. So I had to change schools to get into a good environment. A month later, university goes on strike for a year. So I'm like, what do I do? So I answer an ad in the newspaper, and that's how I joined Primerica. I joined Primerica because I answered an ad in the newspaper. For any young people who doesn't know what that means, it's paper where they put ads in it. Okay. So long story short, I ended up calling and I jumped on in, and, I joined on hope. I just want to let you guys know I joined on hope, because back then we had a 3-stage interview process. And when I signed up, I called Sandra, my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, Sandra, I just got a job. It was a business, right? But I said job. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you know what? Something financial, but I don't really know. They said, but what are you going to be? How much are you going to get paid? You know what? I didn't even ask. They said they're going to take me. They're dressed up really nice. They're in an office. Daniel, but what do you have to do? I don't know, but I just paid $200 for some life. What? You paid $200? So I didn't even know what I signed up for. I didn't know why I paid. Meanwhile, you know how many times you sit with a theory person and you got to explain the whole thing? It's like the biblical timelines of everything they got to do from A to Z before they start. I was like, I'm in before I even knew what the heck I was in for, because I felt it. There's a difference. Sometimes emotion creates motion. So I bought into the feeling of what they were saying versus the terminology and the lineage of information that they were giving me. And that's what I bought into. So I'm going to tell you the biggest thing. It wasn't the cars and the homes, and those stuff is great. I got check. Great. I love it. I'm telling you, that was not what bought me into Primerica. Okay. Now, if you're joining because you want to become a mega millionaire, Hulk Hogan, that's amazing. It's your God-given right if that's what you want. And I'm okay with that. What I'm telling you is my story, is what made me into a pit bull with rabies. Is that I wanted to kill the industry of what they did to my mother and my father. That's why our team's called the Crusading Crew, because for me, I saw what we did. This was my this is my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and me. How damn cute was I, right? And so my dad had 100,000 of coverage, and before Primerica, and my mom had 100,000 of coverage, paying $383 a month for UL policies. Some of them were like 25,000, some of them 50,000. We had 5 policies, paying $383 a month. That's what Dilesh, my upline, came to my house. So you have this Italian, family, and you have this Indian guy comes into my home, sits down, and we're just analyzing the guy. We're like, ready. Should we bury him in the cement here or in the backyard? Like, what are we going to do? Do I got to call Tony and Frank, my cousins, and make this shit happen or what? So all of a sudden, we're like worrying about what the heck is this guy doing? And when it came through and he taught us what my parents had, he turned me into an animal at that moment. I was so upset. It wasn't even about making a lot of money. I was upset that somebody came into my parents' home who were not educated in these means, but they trusted the person, because that's why most people get ripped off, is because they were more trusting, more so than uneducated. And so long story short, if you sell something and the other person doesn't know anything else, you're going to buy it. And my parents were sold. And there's only 2 reasons why people sell this garbage. 1, that's the way they're trained. They just don't know better. Or 2, they know and they just don't care. Those are the 2 reasons why people sell this garbage. So when I saw this, I was like, is there a better solution? Well, this is the solution that we did. After we sold, increased my dad's policy to 300,000 of coverage, increased my mom's policy to 200,000, paying 125. We took the differential, invested it, plus a little bit of upfront money. My dad lost money on the surrender charge. It was in the first 10 years. Yes, he did, but that's fine, because with the lump sum that we started with, plus the monthly, plus the additional that I was motivating him throughout the years, we did buy term and invest the difference for my father, who's a hairdresser. My mom was a travel agent. We weren't these people that own coffee shops and restaurants, and we didn't have all of this stuff. We were just average, hardworking people. That's what we were. My dad has a grade 5 education. My mom barely completed high school. We were just hardworking people. But guess what? My dad, after the renewal of the policy, my dad was able to cancel the policy because my dad was debt free. My mom passed away a few years ago on January 21st, and she had Alzheimer's. So we kept that policy. So because we kept the policy and the increasing benefit rider, we were able to pay out with interest $221,000. That's a lot better than 100,000. And so we were able to do some things, ironically, and which is great. And, for me, knowing that I was able to help my family, that's the greatest feeling in the world. So a lot of times, when I did it, I did not know that today I would be where I would be, but I had the belief that they were in a better situation, more coverage, less dollars, take the difference. The future will be bright. I didn't know what was going to happen, but this is where we are years later. This is my dad's investment statement. So if you look at the top left number, my dad saved with me $1.268 million. You know, my dad started with $60,000. $60,000 my dad started with, plus the monthly investment. I helped my dad to become the wealthy barber because my dad's a hairdresser. So I called my dad the wealthy barber. So this kid who used to go to raves, had earrings over here, earring over here, earring over here, earring over here, you don't want to know where else. That kid who dropped out helped his father become the wealthy barber. Now, I don't know about you, but if that ain't a story that motivates you, I don't know what will. See, it could be your parent. It could be a friend. It could be a client. It could be another relative. It could be somebody else. It could be somebody on your team that got impacted, that motivated and fueled you, that passion. So what I'm telling you is the crusade is more than the superficial stuff that people are excited about. When you die, people are not going to bring my Ferrari with me. My Ferrari, someone else is going to buy it. But you know what we're going to make a difference on is how we treated people, how we did good for others. That will create sort of a riptide, a ripple effect for not only your children, but everybody around you that will recognize and understand that who you are and what you represent and why you're on this planet is to make the world better because you existed financially, morally, spiritually, every single way. That's what you represent. Our company represents that. So to me, yes, house, cars, I'll show you all that stuff. It's nice. I love it. But for me, what fuels me is when I help people. That's why I joined this business. That's my crusade. You take away all the cars and all the homes, man, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love that I can help people make a difference in their life. I love that I have a retired client that calls me because she has no kids and she calls me her son now. I love that I'm able to pay death claims and be there from start to finish, from funeral to here. I love when clients, invite me to their family functions. I love when clients call me saying, hey, we need to take the money out for John's, university tuition, and it's there. And we started with $125 a month. See, the stuff that I love is that stuff. And so because if you're real and authentic with people, people know that you're genuine, that you really want to help people. That's the key to success, is being real, not superficial. You got to be genuine. So, and then they put you on magazines. Now, I'm not impressed by the magazine. I'm impressed that they actually put me beside Franco. Okay. Because Franco just looks so stupid. He's not, people think, is he real? He's like the Tom Brady of Canada. Okay. So he's like too pretty, too fancy, all that crap. Look at me. I'm wearing this oversized golf shirt and they put Franco in this tight golf. Like, it was stupid. It was ridiculous, right? They put you in this, they make you walk down the street. Look, they cut me out. I had to take the second page on the right to put me in. In the first page on the left, if you see the line, they actually cut me out. All you see is my right hand. They only put in the three prettiest people. But you know what I mean? Like, I had to edit, I had to put the sheets together. So I had to let everybody in the world know that I'm still alive. I still exist. Okay. But you could be put and added into this stuff, and which is really awesome. It's ironic that this picture on the left is actually from my neighbor's house. True story. And they had this glass background. They're like, the photographers from Primerica, like, can we do it over there? My neighbors were talking to me. And the funny thing is, my neighbors, the guy owns a financial firm, a boutique financial firm downtown Toronto. And he says, Daniel, I got to tell you, I love your business model. I love what you guys stand for. He goes, I think you guys figured it out. He goes, I'm hustling downtown Toronto every single day, stressing out, dealing with this, dealing with that, money managers. He goes, you guys got freedom. He goes, you built it. And so even somebody from the industry who sells investments, they have a company, they recognize the strength of Primerica, of the business model, of the freedom, because you can make $500,000. That doesn't mean you're going to be free. You got to answer to board of directors. You got to answer to a lot of people. They're not going to pay you a high income at a corporate job, and they're not going to have you by the coglione in Italian. Figure that one out. Okay. So let me talk to you a little bit about leadership, because I want to teach you a couple of things that I feel is relevant and important. And there's a lot of things that you see at the bottom that's there that comes together, that builds leadership all together. And so what I want to do is I want to train you on, some of the things of why people follow you, why people don't follow you. Leadership can be lonely. I get it. My senior national sales director upline, from the US is David and Jill Landrum. And David always said, in common hours by yourself, how you respond when no one else is looking, no one else is calling, no one else is clapping for you, how you act, how you think, how you respond in that moment is what defines who you are as a leader. Not everything is going to be peachy rosy. Listen, I've built teams, people have quit. How you respond. It happens. I can't change. I could, the saying, that old cheesy saying, you could lead the horse to water, you can't make the horse drink. We heard that, all that cliche saying. And then the salesperson says, well, if you give the horse oats, you could make them thirsty. Like, I'm not into that. I'm into, like, there's so much we can do for people. At the end of the day, you can only bring them so close. At the end of the day, they got to be thirsty. They got to want to change. They got to want to adapt. They got to want to drink. Does that make sense? So I'm going to tell you the 3 reasons why people follow you. If you're recruiting people and you look back and you're always by yourself, you're climbing a mountain. You get to the top and you started with, 12 people, and you get to the top, and those 11 people, 12 people died. You got to bring people with you. So these are the reasons why people follow you. They like you and trust you. If somebody's not following you, it's because they just don't like you, don't trust you. Oh, Daniel, I'm likable. You're recruiting all these people. They're not staying. You're not likable. Or there's something about you they don't trust. You got to figure that crap out. Okay. And I'm pretty sure you guys have a list of books and seminars and things that you could do. Mental toughness, self-improvement, habits of highly effective people, and how to win friends and influence people, all that stuff, right? We know that stuff. So you got to be likable and trust. You got to be real. You got to be genuine. People that like you, because if they like you, they're willing to listen to you. I'm going to tell you something. In where I live, there's people who are fancy schmancy financial people. In Primerica, I know a lot of people where I'm at who are really smart technically on the investment side. But let me tell you, I do like 2 to 3 million of personal investments a year. No problem. Why? Because people like me and trust me. They're willing to book an appointment and listen to me. If somebody likes you and trusts you, they're willing to try to make this happen. Even if you're close, if the deal is close, they're going to look for a reason to make it happen. I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest assets. But they also got to know, that you have their best interests at heart. So you got to convey that message in the recruiting side, in the client side. You got to convey that message through truth and honesty. 2 days ago, I transferred 100 grand. Piece of cake. I tried to look at their policies. They got in 2004. I couldn't do better. The price was similar, but it was a term versus a level term. I just couldn't do it. I told him, I said, math's not in your favor. We're not saving you money, blah, 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 blah. Stay here. Let's look on that. He goes, you know what? Thank you so much. He goes, I would have done the insurance with you. So I could have walked out there and I could have got the insurance sale. Got 2 max outs. Look at me on the board. Then all of a sudden, 5 years later, they have a conversation with somebody that says, why would that person replace your policy? It wasn't the best interest for you. Let me show you, because there's an old saying that people lie, but numbers don't. And so the numbers were not in their favor. That's why people will trust you and respect. I've always built my business that if I see you in the supermarket 10 years from now, I want you to come over and hug me. That's how I want to build my business, because I have your best interest at heart. Whether you stay or leave, you're still going to like me because you voluntarily chose not to do it. And C, they know that you're the type of person that's going to take them to the promised land. Now, that's a big one. The first 2, you have total control over. A and B, you have total control over. C, you got to have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of a resume, and you got to bring up your skill level so that you can knock it out of the park. Because at the end of the day, if you're recruiting people, but you can't close the sale because you don't have the skill development to close the sale, then are people going to follow you? And then you can say, well, Daniel, people join the system, not the person. Oh, people join the person, not the system. You could go back and forth all you want, but I'll tell you one thing. When somebody joins a team, they want to join a winning team, period. Have you ever heard of people, saying to you, oh, you know what, my RVP is not plugged in, or my team's not doing anything. Can I join your team? So they get this lure to try to look into someone that's winning. Why don't you be that person? Be the person that starts winning. You attract winners. That's why people follow you. And so that last point is all based on these 7. You master these 7. We know this. I know this is like basic stuff for you, but it's good to know that without me and Alex talking to each other, I'm pulling this up. Meanwhile, you're probably saying, yeah, I know this, Daniel. Okay, great. But how many do you know? Do you know 5 of 7? Do you know 3 of 7? Do you know 6 of 7? Last time I checked, 100, water boils at 100 degrees. So you can know all of them except for one. That plane never takes off fully. You might be fast on the tarmac, but you ain't flying. So which one are you not mastering yet that you need to spend a little bit more time on, so that when you are recruiting people, people truly want to follow you, because they know if they put people in front of you and they follow you, they know your skill development, who you are, likability, trustability, best interest, all that stuff is all going to work in their favor now. That's why people follow you. And the only way you could do this is by starting. A lot of people, they want to wait, analyze, then do. I get that. We always have people like that. They're like, Daniel, I want to know everything before I get started. And I'm like, okay. So I show them this. Don't laugh. I have 2 sets of keys. This is not my set of keys, okay? This is just my my office building keys. So I have an office building, okay? And these are my keys. Now, there's a lot more keychains than probably keys, but there's probably about 15 keys on here, okay? So every time somebody says, Daniel, I would like to get licensed and know everything before I talk to other people, I teach them the key ring theory, okay? And I say, okay, perfect. So I take out my chunk of keys and I say, here you go. I said, there you go. I said, here's everything. They look at you confused. And I'm like, if I gave you all these keys, would they be of any value to you? And they'll be like, no. I said, why? Because I don't even know what the keys are for. Exactly. You're asking me 22 years of getting keys to open up doors. You're asking me in 22 years to give you all the keys before you start? See, that's impossible. See, life is like the ring. Life is like the ring. The ring is naked and by yourself. It starts just empty. So you starting with me today is like an empty ring. And guess what? The next training you come to, I'm going to add a key. The next training you come to, I'm going to add a key. Next training you come to, I'm going to add a key. The next training you come to, I'm going to add a key. The next appointment we do together, and next time we sit together and analyze that policy, I'm going to add a key. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to say, okay, this key opens this door to this knowledge. Now you know forever what this key symbolizes. If I try to do verbal diarrhea and try to give you all the keys all at once, there would be no value for you. You would not learn this way. Are you okay by learning as we go? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. So maybe that analogy may help for some of you, because you will meet these people. You're probably thinking, holy crap, I got 4 people I got to say this analogy to right after. So like, this is really good, because we only learn by doing. That's why Art Williams was a genius, because experience is the greatest teacher in the world. You learn by doing. And then also, you know, inaction is just like the worst thing you could ever do. Because in the book, you know, it says action cures all fears. Action cures all fears. And the longer you wait, like, it's almost like, you know, procrastinating is almost like the devil telling you not to do something because we're trying to sabotage you. You know, I love it. I love that notion that when you are thinking of trying to plan the perfect word, the perfect presentation, the perfect plan on paper, you know, let me order everything first. Let me go to all the classes first. Let me do all this first. Let me go on POL first. And you're doing this without action, it's going to hurt you more than help you. Because I've always thought to myself, the best experience in the world is when you talk to somebody saying, hey, listen, I'm new. That's why I'm working with Alex. That's why I'm working with Ash. And you know what? At the end of the day, I want to just show you what I do. If you like it, maybe you could refer and open up some doors for me. I'm not that knowledgeable right now. That's why I'm learning. Could you help me? People are going to be like, sure, that's real. Somebody with an ego says, well, I need to learn everything first before. That's an ego thing. Swallow that pride, man. Swallow that pride. I found that when I did my appointments with my trainer, I didn't know everything. The people that I loved and loved me, they were more receptive because they knew I was trying to learn as I go, because I was acting on it. I was going towards. If you prospect, you learn how to prospect. If you book appointments, you learn how to book appointments. If you get objections, you learn how to overcome objections. But if you wait to do all this stuff, how are you supposed to learn if all you're doing is analyzing and waiting to respond? The response is how you learn. That's every genius in the world knows this. But yet every person who's not building doesn't know this. How is that? I'm shouting from the top of the mountain. Please do legally and learn as you go. I know it's not the answer you want. We're going to help you as you go. But I promise you, if you talk to 10 people today, you're going to learn how to talk to a few different types of people. Just the way it is. Different religions, different markets, different demographics. You start prospecting, you learn it. It's the way it works. So we got to set a goal. And that goal, whatever that goal is important to you. I always tell people, don't set a goal based on what I tell you to do. Set a goal, what's important to you, based on what your level is. I got a video for you that's going to knock you off your ass right now. Okay. And it's going to teach you what level you should, because sometimes we get frustrated sometimes as leaders. If you have a person on your team, you're a designated leader, and so all of a sudden it's like you're in this immediate leader position. You know, your people are telling you things and then they don't follow through. And you get frustrated. I'm going to cure your frustration, because we all need to be on the same level now. Because if I know that your goal is to make $1,000 a month, meanwhile, I thought you wanted to be an RVP in the next 6 months, but your goal, through your acknowledgement, through you telling me, through your behaviors, through your actions, you just want to make $1,000 a month right now, and you're the happiest person in the world. Now I know our communication level and we're good. Versus the person that says, but I really want to become an RVP. It needs to be backed up with different behaviors. And we're going to learn this. So we are professional friend makers. That's what we do for a living, ladies and gentlemen. We are professional friend makers. Everywhere you go, make a friend. Just before coming here, I had to go pick up my dry cleaning that I forgot for like 2 weeks. I had to go there. I met a lady from Switzerland that was in the parking lot. Bam, got her name and number. She's retired. Boom. I'm a professional friend maker. Everywhere I go, I smile. They smile. Hey, sorry, stop. You got a really nice smile. You work with people? And they're going to say yes or no. That's it. They're going to be like, yeah, that's what I thought. What's your name? I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you. How simple is that? They say no. Really? That's unfortunate, because, man, you seem like such a friendly person. What's your name? I'm Daniel. How simple is that? Everywhere you go, smile. Smiling is like the gateway to openings of everything. Smile. See, you know, the skinniest people in the world, they always frown. Did you ever notice this? Because it takes more muscles to frown than to smile. That's why they're always flexing. Did you ever notice that? I got a little bit of a belly and I got love handles, so I'm doing all right. I'm smiling okay so far. And we are professional coaches of others. We are professional friend makers, and we are professional coaches of others. And we got to learn how to coach and enable other people with gifts. We're not going to do it for them all the time. We're going to give them some knowledge, and then little by little, we're going to give them the opportunity to start doing it on their own. And I think that's really important. So, you know, finite mindset is what people are just thinking. This is what I know. This is it. I need to see it to believe it. I need to get the result to believe that it's possible. That's the finite mindset. The infinite mindset says, okay, if I build a team of 7 to 10 licensed district leaders, and I build an environment that's conducive to winning, and I focus on double digiting every single month based on the numbers over a period of time, based on percentages of ratios of licensing numbers, and then 20% of licenses, right? 2.2 apps and blah, 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 blah. Over a period of time, this is what it will be. So the infinite mindset will foresee the future based on a plan, and will believe it in action, and will believe it that it will happen if they work for it. If they don't work for it, but yet they're still imagining this is going to happen, that's bullshit. You're shooting yourself in the foot, ladies and gentlemen. So the key is the infinite mindset successful person. There's a lot of people in Primerica that think like infinite, but they don't believe. They do it, they write it, but they don't really believe in it. You have to believe that what you're doing is going to work in your favor, and everything will work in favor for you. That's exactly how the magnetism and the law of attraction in the universe works in favor for all of us. All of us. We all bleed the same color. We are all the same. Up there, he wants us to have it all. While we're here, be the best. He wants us to have it all. There's nothing he won't do for you, but you got to believe. You got to work for it. So I still have a video I got to show you. It's killer. It's like a 1-minute video, but it's a killer video. Characteristics of a great recruiter. Okay. Let me tell you what are the characteristics of a great, these are the characteristics of a great recruiter. They're pleasant and attractive personality. You know, they're pleasant to be around with. I went to a Bryan Adams concert. You guys know who Bryan Adams is? Maybe the older people might know him. Anybody who's 40 plus will know Bryan Adams. He's a Canadian icon legend. Anybody who's like 20 to 30 are like, what? Right? So I went to a Bryan Adams concert last night and we had this box. So I guess some other people were sharing the box and it was 4 people. And there was this big guy. He was grumpy and really negative. And he's like, oh, can I sit here? I'm like, yeah, you could. My sister was sitting right beside. He goes, well, I'm just going to sit here. It's okay. And he sits down. Well, right off the bat, does that give you a pleasant and attractive personality that you want to be around? No. I looked at my wife. My wife looked at me. We're like, we're going, I'm with my sister. So right off the bat, how is your personality? Is it initially pleasant and attractive to others? Because remember, we are all energy. So if your smile and your energy is higher, you are the most attractive freaking human being in the world. Everybody wants to be around. I tell you something. When I walk into a room, people look at me, not because I'm just this killer, white and black beard is just absolutely stunning. It's because my personality vibrates and my energy frequency is a lot higher than the majority of the people that are in the room. Thus, the lower energy is attracted and pulled to the higher frequency. That's me, baby. So that's a pleasant and attractive personality. You could do that too. It's a choice to be it. Every morning we wake up, it's a choice. You got to be an interested extrovert. Isn't that what you said, Alex? Isn't that what you talked about? Right? I wonder, like, wow, look at this. I think he got that one from me. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So you got to be an interested extrovert. And Alex talks to you about this all the time. Not everybody is an extrovert. Tom Cruise, jump on the couch. Hey, how are you, everybody? Look at me. But you could be an interested extrovert, meaning that you don't have to be jumping on chairs, but you got to look for reasons to create a conversation, say hi to people. You could do that by, maybe having a conversation that you're able to listen in or see or hear or network, comment positively on different things, be a part of these types of things that you can look for reasons and ways to connect to other people because you're interested in a sport, a hobby, a religion. I don't know, something to connect to. You know what I mean? If you're interested in things, now all of a sudden people are pulled to you as well. You got to be confident, but not cocky around people. Every time I'm around people, I always listen. I just talked to a person this morning who I went to elementary school with. And she's like, Daniel, because I just saw on her Instagram, she was with 4 girls last night that went to elementary school. I says, Daniel, I have to message you. We're all around talking to each other. He goes, we want to do a reunion. One other guy is asking for it. He goes, but he's not going to do it. If anybody's going to do it, you're going to do it. So they already know that I got the confidence. I could pick up the phone, call people, and rally people together. I wasn't born like that. I didn't come out of my mom's womb and the doctor says, wow, look at this confident baby. You're either a baby boy, baby girl. What you become after that's your choice. So what we got to do is you got to create some confidence in your life. Be assertive, but not aggressive. Follow up. You got to have that persistence. I have this by my desk and it reads persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone will bring success. This is by my desk. I see it every single day. I may not be the smartest person in the room, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm the most assertive and the most confident, and the most dedicated to follow up. That investment I just did 2 days ago for 100,000, I've been following up that person since 2018. I had to get in the door. 2018. So you got to be assertive, but not aggressive. I'm going to give you the key to following up with people because there's Primerica people are very annoying that follow up with people. And then they just those people never call you back. And you think, well, if I just keep calling, they're going to be like that. No, you got to take permission. People will always communicate with you. So if I'm talking to you and then I'm like, hey, listen, I know that right now the timing is not right. And you told me it's not good timing for your life. But I got to tell you something, Alex. There's just something about you I just really like, man. I love your personality. I love your, the way you are as a human being. I love your family values. I love that you're hardworking. And I love that you're focused and determined to be successful what you're focusing on right now. I really do applaud you. But I got to tell you something. I got to be honest with you. I think you'd be absolutely unbelievable at this business. Now, timing is off right now, but I just admire you as a person. I think you're great. Hey, if I called you 90 days from now or 6 months from now, and you saw my number on your screen, the only reason why I'm calling you is I honestly, genuinely think you're an amazing human being. Would it be cool if I followed up with you 90 days from now or 6 months? Would that be okay? What do you think people are going to say? Oh my God, yes. Now all of a sudden, psychologically in their subconscious, every time they see me calling, what are they going to be like? They want to answer my call because they know I think they're special, genuinely. See, people want to be somebody at all levels. Be assertive, not aggressive. Be knowledgeable, know your stuff. That's from the 7. Ask the right questions, obviously. Those are very important. You can't just be very robotic and ask the same questions to everybody. You got to ask the right questions that appeals to that person and their timeline. They got to know how to close business. That's the skill set line. Because if you got the fish on the hook, but you don't know how to pull it out of the water, come on, man. We gotta learn that. If you feel like you're missing that hole, we got to work on that. And you got to be genuine and you got to be super authentic, because people can smell a phony a mile away. You can't act one way to one person and then with your team different than your clients. Man, I'm like this all the time. This is me all the time. Don't be the person that just comes to the meeting, but be the person that brings people to the meeting. So that meeting coming up, you got to think to yourself, how many people you're going to bring? That's got to be a big thing. So that meeting, how many did you have at the last meeting? I don't know the last time you had a meeting. You got to think about it and you say, okay, my goal is to beat it by this number, this percentage growth. And if you focus on that, guess what? It grows, because whatever you focus your efforts on grows. It's just the way it is, because we can't influence an empty seat. We can only influence people that are there, because it could be the one person that was the last person that you happen to get there that happens to be the next big thing. And you'd be like, oh my God, that event. Well, you just were coachable. You just did the best you could and bring as many people as possible. I'm going to just try to see if I could. I don't know if I have it here. How much time do I have left, Alex?
Buddy, as much time as you want.
Are you sure? Okay. All right. So I can't hear you.
Another thing we could do is we could do another session and have part 2 as well. So if you want to do it like that, we could do it that way as well.
Maybe we could, because I want to go over a game plan on making a 6-figure. If I push it, it's going to be like 10 minutes. It's going to be rushed. I could do this in probably.
Yeah. Why you want to do that video now, or
I want to do that video. I'm going to show you this video.
Okay.
This video, is, everybody knows Nick Saban, probably one of the best all-time football coaches, American football. And he had this talk. I just saw it. And I got to tell you, I've been listening to it maybe 3 to 5 times a day for the last week. Okay. It's only a minute. I texted to my team and just watch the video, which one you want. And it's a really simple video, but if you can get from it, it's very powerful. So let's play it. Coming.
The part that we're trying to get to. So, we have about 5 choices, in our life. We can be bad at what we do. We can be average at what we do. We can be good at what we do, or we can be excellent, or we can be elite. And everybody has a choice as to what they want to do and how they want to do that. But if you're going to be excellent or elite, you got to do special things. You have to have special intensity. You have to have special focus. You have to have a special commitment and drive and passion to do things at a high level and a high standard all the time. It doesn't matter what God-given ability that you have, that probably can make you good. But without the rest of it, I'm not sure you ever get excellent or elite. And that's the part that we're trying to get to. So, and we have.
That's it. That's simple, simple, simple. And those are the 5 choices you have. I'll end it off at this. The 5 choices in life you have is you could be bad at what you do. You could be average at what you do. You could be at minimum. What God wants you to be is at least good at what you do. Because that's the bare minimum. Bare minimum, you got to be at least good. Then there's excellent and elite. Number 4 and 5, to be excellent and elite at anything in life takes a different level. See, forget about all that crap. I think that I had a lady call me after I did this meeting with my licensed team once a month. I had a licensed meeting, goal setting, all this stuff. And then this lady, she texted me, she goes, I want to be elite. I said, I had to be honest with her. I said, when you had no job, you have 4 kids, you have a husband that's disabled, you take care of him, you had no job, and you told me you had no time. Now you got a full-time job. You still got to take care of your husband who's disabled. You got 4 kids, you run around. You're not willing to get a nanny because you want to do everything for everybody. You still want to do your charitable work. I appreciate what you're saying, but it's not going to happen because you're not willing to put the time, the sacrifice, or what it takes to get there. It was the hardest thing I had to tell this lady. I said, so unless you make different choices in your life, the only way you're going to be elite is if you change the things that you're doing in your life. But if you think just by saying you want to do it and by doing a couple appointments here, a couple appointments there, it's going to happen, it will never happen to you. I needed her to know that. Now, I didn't feel good telling her that, but her response was, I appreciate that. And I gave her a suggestion because she doesn't even have time sometimes to do appointments, to get a field trainer to do appointments for her. And she's like, okay, that's one area. I said, you know where you need to be at? I said, you're doing like little to nothing right now. I said, let's just start with being at least good. Let's just get to good. Let's just get good. Then from there, let's see what time commitment you have, what kind of sacrifice, what kind of investment we could do to see if we can get to excellent. But at this point in time, you just need to strive to be good. And her response was, I absolutely agree with you, Daniel. So now we're on a good communication path because a lot of people, they want to climb Mount Everest. They don't even have hiking boots. So you can't just say it. Just because it sounds good and feels good, it doesn't mean you're gonna do it. It takes a different passion, a different type of effort, a different type of mindset, a different type of determination, a different type of commitment, grit, honor in what you do, focus, time. If you are not willing to do that, don't tell me you want it. Start with good. Now, many of you are already good. Let's get you to excellent. Many of you are probably excellent. Let's get you to elite. Many of you are probably elite right now. Help your people. That's the name of the game. So I'm so sorry. I apologize for going over time. Thanks so much, Alex. And hopefully we could do this again, and I'll be glad to go over the stuff that we missed. Okay.
Wow. Daniel Pirillo. OMG, Daniel. I mean, like I've known you for such a long time. I know how good you are and were, and man, you just took it to a whole new level. You're the first guy that I've watched on Zoom that was able to reach through technology and two-dimensionality. And man, you grabbed my heart. You had me laughing. You had me in tears. You had me unbelievable, fantastic. Hey, how about we continue this a week from today? Would you be able? You may have to check your calendar, check your schedule.
Let me check my paper calendar.
I love that. That's how we did it old school, man. We used to have those day timers, and mine was littered with appointments, man. I tell you.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. I could do it. I have an appointment at 9:30. I'm just going to bump it 30 minutes earlier.
Okay, okay, so that's 11 o'clock your time, which is East Coast time, and then that's 8 o'clock our time, so that
That's right.
people don't get confused. So for us, it's same time, same channel, same everything. Guys, we're gonna have Daniel Pirillo part 2. Man alive, you just blew this thing out of the water. We appreciate you, man. And anything I can do to repay you, I'm here for you. But let's continue this next week. All
My
right,
pleasure.
all right,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
All right,
Thank you.
guys, we've already taken plenty of time. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be out of here. Listen, as far as the event is concerned, I started talking to you about the fast start on October 23rd. The tickets are almost gone. Don't blow this thing. There's going to be over 1,000 people in that room. It's going to be standing room only. Don't be the person that didn't go. And you'll be like, what happened? Was that a good thing? And don't be the person that's there all by yourself. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Kill yourself. Tear your heart out to get as many people there as possible. Everybody that got big learned how to get people to big events. I'm telling you right now, no one gets a pass on this one. Okay? All right. Love you guys. And don't forget, this Saturday is going to be Super Saturday. Either be in Pasadena or get on Zoom and make sure that you don't miss it if you're out of town. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.